G'day and welcome back guys to another day in Minecraft, and today we're back in Java again, and what we're going to be doing is making a item sorter that's actually a house, or a house that's actually an item sorter. I'm not sure which way we're going to do this. So one of the big sort of stresses with this is kind of that we need to build the house and the item sorter at the same time. Normally with most builds, you do the redstone and then the actual build, or you do the build and then fit in some redstone. This is kind of going to be both at the same time. So I imagine it's going to be a little bit difficult, but we'll see how we go. So you're going to be amazed by some of the redstone that we're going to come up with today, mainly because I'm brilliant at redstone. And obviously not because I've tried to record this twice so far and accidentally destroyed the recordings. So let's crack into it and go from there. So what I'm thinking that we do with this one is we make a bit of a sort of Japanese house or something kind of like that. And hopefully we can make something that is reasonably pretty cool. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. It should hopefully be okay, but yes, I've never been able to sort of master the Japanese sort of house design. And trying to build an item sorter into the system is probably quite difficult in itself, so yeah, we'll see how it all goes. We'll see how it goes. So what we're building first of all is kind of like a track system. So all the minecarts are going to be sort of flowing through these tracks that we have that sort of go underneath the house. Hopefully this does work in our favor. I really don't know if it's going to work quite as easy as what I'm sort of doing here, but hopefully it does. I should probably test these things a bit more. But as you can see below us, what we have is basically we're going to have some tracks that come down here, so the minecarts can basically flow all the way around through these tracks here, and then they come up and around and all that sort of stuff until they eventually reach here, which they go back up, and the same sort of thing occurs. So what we need to do now is we need to build a roof that basically has the same sort of outline to it, where basically we have this sort of system that's going to be going above us. It really doesn't make much sense at the moment. It will eventually. I promise this will probably make sense if it works. Okay, and now we should have our two track systems that are all sort of lined up exactly. And this should mean now that we should be in a good position to start on where we're going to have all the minecarts going through. So hopefully this works out well. I'm not sure what this is going to do, but it should be okay. What I'm thinking is we use something that I don't think I've ever used before, which is brown stained glass. I can't ever remember myself actually using brown glass. I mean, it's just such a particular sort of strange use case that I can't see it being very useful for a lot of things. So, yes, it does seem like it's a very niche sort of block. Have you guys ever actually used brown stained glass? I mean, unless you were trying to blend into wood, I can't imagine, and particularly dark oak wood, which is kind of what the color is, I can't imagine it's got much use for very much else. So, yeah, it's definitely a very particular niche sort of use block. And in case you're wondering as well, every single time I have reshot this video, I have actually made a different design house, mainly because I don't really like to build the same house multiple times. Okay, so now we've got our system all basically removed of water, and we have it too high so that we can basically have in some glass just above it. And what we need to do from here now is we need to link up the two systems together. So if I just chuck in some blocks here, now we need to grab quickly some soul sand from here and just a water bucket, because they're going to be extremely useful. So what we want to do is now decide which side we want to be the upstream and what side to have the downstream. So I'm thinking probably this one will be the sort of upstream thing. If it'll make sense, don't worry. Don't worry, it'll make sense eventually. If I can avoid myself destroying my own base. And that one can just be left as is. Now we will also need some signposts if I can find them. I get so lost between the different versions. I really honestly do. Okay, let's chuck in that. and chuck in that one. Wait, no. I need to do it on the other side, don't I? Or this side. No, this side. This side works fine. Yes. However, this is going to be a little bit of a problem because I haven't left myself the most amount of room for the stream to come in here, which if you have a look with the water, it's going to cause a problem. If I put a signpost there, then it doesn't exactly lead into this one. So maybe I have to actually shift all of this down a little bit more so that I can avoid any such sort of issues like that. I'm going to have to shift it down, aren't I? So we're going to need some blocks that are going to be surrounding where all the minecarts are going up and down from. So that's going to be something I'm going to have to think about a little bit as to what kind of design that we sort of want that all to be. But to start off with, we should be pretty okay doing most of this stuff in a more temporary sort of fashion so that we can at least get a bit of an idea as to how this is all going to look. So if we fill in some water here, then that will be our upstream. And you know what? I might even do something simple and just use sort of white glass here. Just because I think the walls are probably going to be more white glass or white in general. So yeah, that should all sort of suit in pretty well. So let's chuck in some of these and see what this all looks like once we've got a bit of it all sort of started to be figured out. I'm just not happy with just a complete glass look. So what I'm doing is I'm also chucking in some calcite, which very interesting brand new block. I think this could work very well in our favor. It's kind of like a really nice looking version of diorite. It's a really well done block. I really like the texture of this. Okay, so that should be a pretty good sort of start, and all we have to do now is fill in some water. If I can jump down here, and we're just going to now add all these three in. Okay, and we should be starting to get a bit of a look as to how our item sorting system's going to be looking. So from here, what we have is the minecarts will come up through these three different slots, and then they need to be basically making their way around to the different sort of sections as to that could probably be placed one over. Let's try that. There we go. Yeah, they need to be placed in the different sort of sections so that we can get all the minecarts going around in a big giant circle sort of thing. So let's start with that and go from there. And I'll also just fill in these sections a little bit more because we want all of our minecarts going down through this section as well. So I'll just chuck in those and a little bit more brown glass. Well that's interesting. So this is a kind of bit of a difference between Java and Bedrock apparently, but recently we've gotten in Java the ability to waterlog the rail systems. So normally in Bedrock, if you were to actually place a rail in a water stream, it would just break the rail. But in Java, it actually seems like it stops it. That's very interesting. I didn't know that you could actually do this. I wonder what this does to everything. That's definitely a strange question now. Because if I place that, what happens here? How does the minecart work? Does it keep on going around, or what's the deal here? Because it gets a little bit of a boost from the... I don't have to have them jammed up at all. I could just have rail systems, because they get a little bit of a boost from even these unpowered rails. So I could change all of this so that there's absolutely no problems with it just continuously going around. I didn't know this. This has turned out to be something really, really cool. So if I do that... Oh, but then... Does that work? I mean, I can't really see that as working, but let's test out this. If this works, then I've just discovered a much easier way to do all of this, and I'm going to have to do it all over again. But if this works, then this solves all of our problems all in one. So it grabs onto the cart, goes around, and it's in the right direction. Oh, geez, this has actually made our lives a lot simpler and easier. So I can just take that, move it like that, and then put in a water stream there. And does that work? Can we use 2 rail systems for that little bit of an extra boost and then push it around? It works! It works! Okay, this is like officially OP now. This is officially the most ridiculous thing that actually does work in Minecraft. I don't even have to try now to actually make this stuff work. It's just going to work by itself. I don't need all those ones locked up. I'm going to have to redo the whole system now. But this is awesome. This is just absolutely awesome. I can't believe they added this as a function. I need to check in Bedrock to see if this is possible though. I don't think it is. They've added the rails in a very different sort of way, which gives a much different level of possibilities, because we can just have one minecart that can basically jump between the 2 points without getting stuck. If this works here, it's just well and truly OP now. Yep, that worked. There's no problems. Okay, I need to redo this whole thing. Okay, let's redo it all and start from the start again. Okay, we've finally fixed it all back up, and this thing is now absolutely flipping awesome. So let's grab ourselves a minecart, and I'll show you guys how this all operates now that we've actually figured this out. So you don't need to stack them all up, you can basically just chuck them in. And where's a good one to do it as? It's a good question. That's a very good question. I can just probably chuck a rail in here, and we can chuck in a few more. So yeah, they don't need to get stuck at the different points. Now they can just sort of flow throughout the system, which is incredibly insane. Like, I can't believe this actually works. So we'll put a couple in. Let them slowly just float around the place. And I'll chuck another one in there, and probably just another one in here. And we'll just let those sort of go around. So how this is all going to work though, is that we need to actually add in some filtering, because you can't just have this completely unfiltered. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab some items. So let's start with, I don't know, what are we going to sort out? We'll take one which is diamonds. Why not diamonds? Diamonds are awesome. And we'll put them into here. And we'll grab another one which is the bean blocks. I guess that's probably best. So we'll chuck those in there. And another one which is redstone, because I like redstone blocks. Why not redstone? And we'll chuck a couple in there. So what this effectively is doing is that it's meaning that this can only pick up a certain type of block, which is good. It's exactly what we want. And bedrock, I guess? Yeah, why not bedrock? What other blocks do we have? Yeah, I love the chiseled. The chiseled sandstone's always been one of my favorites. Just the creeper face in it is just gorgeous. Let's see, what else can I do? Call to the new blocks, copper. And finally, we just got the bookcases. Okay, so now we've got ourselves a, 9 item sorter. But it's basically, you can add more and that sort of thing. It just takes more time to basically fill them up with at least one in each. So these shouldn't be able to actually take out any items out of the other ones, because they can only take out the type of item that they have. And if we go somewhere down here, for instance, in fact, yeah, those ones are filled up. So if we go down here, then what we can do is start adding in our floor. Now, how this works is not incredibly fast, but incredibly cheaply, and in very large quantities, obviously, is that we can basically chuck in a hopper just on top, or a chest just on top. In fact, we don't even need hoppers, do we? Because the hoppers are down there. So we can just basically grab something like a chest on top and just chuck in our items into the chest. It doesn't have to be a trap chest. It can be a regular chest. But the hoppers allow us to basically have it so that the items are flowing between 3 different lanes. That's the big thing. I mean, realistically, I don't have to have 3 different lanes of the actual item sorter. I mean, it just means that you can store more, but on the flip side, yeah, you do get this sort of more interesting sort of design to it. Okay, so now that we've got our floor all in place, and I should probably actually put some just above here, just so that they don't sort of try jumping out of the actual item sorting system, which creates a bit of problems. I mean, I'll probably put an entire roof in here, but for now we just want to basically make sure that they don't go jumping out of the actual system, because that generally creates a lot of problems. So what will happen from here now is that all these items will slowly come out of this chest, and then they'll slowly go into these hoppers where they continue to spiral around and around, until what will happen is that all the hopper minecarts actually pick it up from these hoppers. So it's very, very simple, very intelligent, and very useful to doing different things. Now, where are the hopper minecarts? I haven't seen them in some time. Are they stuck somewhere, or? Oh no, they're just slowly coming around. It's not the quickest. It's really not the quickest. Okay, so now we definitely have ourselves an item storage system and an item sorting system all in one, just using hoppers. Now it's probably time to actually make this look nice, because while this is not too bad as sort of looking so far, it could do with some improvement. I mean, you probably wouldn't want to live on just 2 big brown slabs. So let's make something that looks a bit better, shall we? Okay, and that's looking not too bad so far. It does look, yeah, could do with some improvement, but that's okay. That's okay. It's not really too big a deal. We're not doing a roof tutorial. We're just basically doing an item sort of build. So that's basically it. It's very simple, very easy to sort of make, but if you have a look at it, I mean, you don't have to have glass here. It can be wood. It's perfectly fine to have wood. It's just more convenient that we have some really unusual sort of sides to this, where we just have half of minecarts going around. I'm surprised that the tracks work so well. That doesn't work like that in Bedrock at all, and they need to make it so that Bedrock is the same as this. This is just a brilliant way of doing things. I mean, look at this. Rails are pretty much almost useless. I'll say almost useless, because if you have a look, we basically use rails in this. It's just that rails have a very different sort of use. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the build and everything like that, and I think it's a pretty cool item sorter. It's definitely the weirdest item sorter that you could possibly ever imagine. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya. I just broke something again. Why am I breaking things all the time? Just ignore the missing gaps in the roof. I haven't had time to fix that up. Okay, alright, catch you guys in the next one. Bye!